All right, we're going to make a multiplicity. So the first thing you'll need to do is go File and Open, and then find your images that you want to open. Mine are in here. They're already open. Boom. Make sure that they have the same lighting in them so that none of them change in light situation. You don't want one of your figures to be a lot darker than the rest. The next thing we're going to do is move all of those onto the same project. We're going to move them all over to 0286. So here's how you do that. You're going to right click on your layer, hit duplicate layer. We're going to call this the sitting picture, and we want to copy it over to 0286. And then I'm going to hit OK. Now you can see over here on my 0286 that my computer's frozen. That's what you can see. Dope. Okay, you can see I have my two layers here, boom and boom, sitting and the one that's underneath. Oh my gosh, my computer's freaking out. Okay, we're gonna do that to all of the rest of the pictures. So right click, duplicate. We're gonna call this camera. We're copying it to 0286 and hit OK. We're gonna do the same thing to this one, duplicate, and call this the right light. Okay. Oopsie, I forgot to copy that one over to 2806. So you can see what happened here. I forgot to put it onto the other document. So I'll just right click, duplicate that one, and drop it onto the right project. Last one we need to do, I don't know why that is pink, but it's okay because we only need this section of me right here. So that actually won't even matter. I must have clicked on something pink a while ago. So right click, duplicate the layer, call it the back figure on 2806 and hit OK. So now we should have all of our pictures all on one document once it decides to load. All right, we got all of our layers over here. Check it out. Heck yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to turn off the top 3 layers so that I just have my first 2 that I'm working with. And then I want to make sure that I am on my sitting layer or whatever is on top of my background. And I'm going to turn the opacity down just a smidgen so I can start seeing my character that's underneath. Okay. What we need to do is cut out a hole in the sitting layer so that you can see my background layer. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So with this selected, you're going to click down here on add a layer mask. And that's going to add this little white box over here. You want to make sure that you're selected in the layer mask, not accidentally selected on the picture. So select in your layer mask, and then you're going to use your paintbrush, and hopefully you have black and white selected. So white is what you're going to use to bring everything back. So what you can remember yourself as white over black brings everything back. Black over white is just right, because that's what you're going to use to cut out a hole. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. So now you can see both of my figures on one layer. This one's a little bit not very opaque because remember the layer on my opacity is still down. So if I turn that back up to 100, I have a hole that's cut in that layer that's showing like showing through to the second image. So if I turn off this layer, you can see there's literally a hole cut in my sitting layer that's showing what's underneath. Okay. So now we're going to add in the camera layer, and you'll see that like, uh-oh, we need to cut another hole. So we're going to select that layer. We're going to add a layer mask, and then we're going to start cutting me out. Okay. Because my background is so solid and does not move, I don't need to be super specific about making sure I'm just doing just around the body, because I know that there's nothing else back there that's going to distract me from what's happening. Oops. So I can just erase a big hole. Okay, but I'm missing one of my people still, so this one might be a little tricky because they overlap. So I'm going to drop my opacity down so I can start seeing where I need to go, and then I'm going to start cutting that hole out. So make sure my arms and stuff are in there. And then this is where it gets tricky because you can't see my legs because this person's in front. So I need to erase a little bit. And then I'm going to bring my opacity back up so that I can see, uh-oh, I lost a little bit of my front character in the hood. So I'm going to make my brush smaller, and I'm going to flip these because remember, white over black brings stuff back. So then I can go back in and I can paint back in the hood of my front character. So this is where I might need to be a little bit more specific. If you press X on your keyboard, that will flip these over here. So if you need to start erasing stuff again, you can go and change your brush so it's got a really hard edge. You want to make sure you're not getting that feathered edge. So there's quite a bit you can do to make this look real. But if your characters start overlapping, it does get a little bit more tricky. Okay, that's good enough for now. And then we'll do it again. With this one, we're going to add a layer mask. Boom. And we're going to start erasing with a bigger brush. I know that there's one of me here. I know that there's one of me here. And I know that there's one of me here. If you notice, I have made a shadow with my body on the floor, and that is in the actual photo. So I do need to start blending the floor together. Okay. The last one we need to add is in the back. I'm a little nervous about it because the cupboard opens. So let's see if we can make that work. We're going to add a layer mask. We're going to cut out all the people that are easy peasy first. I can even make my brush bigger if I want and just like really quickly cut out those holes. Now this is where it might be a little bit tricky. Let's see. Let's go back there. Looks like just the back is going to be if I do this right, it should look like the cupboard was open the whole time. Boom. We did it. Okay. We have all these holes cut out in the picture. What you can do is put an adjustment layer over the whole thing at the end. Let's say, let's do a levels adjustment at the end. We can adjust the entire photo once we're done and make it all feel like it goes together. Maybe we want to add in a photo filter that goes on top of the whole thing. Maybe I want to make it pink. Cool. So that kind of draws everything together. And then you're going to go and finish it off by going File, Save As. Make sure you drop this Photoshop down and choose JPEG. Name it Multiplicity. Put it in your pictures. 2021. And save. And then it's going to ask you, how big do you want to save it? 10 is good. 12 is like if I'm going to print it. 7 would be if I was just going to turn it in somewhere for no reason. But let's just do 10. And okay. And then you will find your picture and you can open it up. And here it is. Boom. Yay. Good job. You win.